Hey you guys, I am adding on this intro here. I actually recorded this video and had it scheduled and everything, and then Hannah from Pepper and Pine was like, hey, do you remember that collab that we were gonna do? Can you post it on the 7th? And incidentally, that was the day that I already had this video scheduled. So I actually tried to re-record it specifically for the collab, but I felt like what I was sharing before was just so much from my heart and I couldn't reproduce that. So this is actually part of a collab where we're sharing a little bit about being what it's like to be a homeschooling introverted mom, some of the struggles, and some of the ways we cope with that. Now this video is long because I'm adding on to it and it was just something straight from my heart. And also, after I made this video and posted this video and took some more time to think and pray, I have some ideas of things that I want to incorporate. So I haven't had a chance to test them out or see how they work, but I am going to make another video like this and plug it in at the end of my original video, and hopefully that can give you some ideas and encouragement as well. And also be sure to check out the videos from these other moms. A lot of these moms are way more veteran homeschoolers than I am, and so they have even more tips and tricks and ideas and ways to, you can homeschool, even if you're an introvert. There are certainly some struggles that you'll have, but honestly, every personality has struggles as a homeschooler. And sometimes as introverts, our struggles are just a little bit more glaringly obvious when it comes to things that have to do with human contact and people interaction. But anyway, that is kind of my intro, and I hope that you guys really enjoyed this. I will see you again at the end. Hey you guys, it is me, Laura, and today this is just going to be more of a chatty vlog and just being real with you as a mom, and something that I've been struggling with lately, and it's something that I've really kind of struggled with from the beginning of being a mom, and especially being a homeschool mom, it's made it a little bit more challenging, and especially being a homeschool mom who believes firmly in at least having some semblance of child-led or interest-led learning in my homeschool, it makes it even more challenging. So my personality is one where I'm very introverted, and that doesn't mean I don't like people. I do love people. I love people a lot, but I'm very intense in the sense that when I'm with people, when I'm around people, when I'm doing things, I'm really hyper-focused. I do super well focusing in and honing in on one thing, but when I have a lot going on around me, it can be overwhelming and kind of wear me out. And I've always been someone who's been really responsible and really committed. And what I didn't realize is that when I was in college, before we had kids, whatever, I would do my teaching job. For example, when I was a teacher, I would teach during the day, and then I would spend quite a bit of time planning, and I would, whenever there was a break, like a school break or a weekend or anything, I was completely recuperating. I didn't do a whole lot else because being a teacher is so high intensity with people all day, and then plus you have the planning and all of that. It was just all that I could do. That was all that I could manage, and I threw my heart and soul into it, but I couldn't do anything else. And I think now that I'm kind of a mom, it's been difficult for me because I'm used to throwing myself into everything. But from the time you have that tiny screaming baby in the hospital there's not really that time to completely recharge and recuperate. And so that's been part of a struggle for me, is trying to figure out, like, how do I do that, because that's something that I desperately need to be able to function. It's not a matter of me being lazy or selfish with my time or whatever. It's a matter of my brain is constantly going and turning, and if I don't have time to stop and process those things, like, I just can't focus on anything. I can't really be very good at anything. And another aspect to that is that I also, because I'm terrible at triage. Like, I'm terrible at decision making. I'm terrible at, if something is coming up, like trying to figure out what to do with it. I'm not good at that. And so for that reason, I have always been someone who functions very well with schedule, with routine, with rhythm. And when the rhythm gets thrown off, it's really hard for me to get back on track. When you have children, your rhythm is constantly thrown off, and you're constantly having to get back on track. And this has been a challenge for me. Like, even now with homeschool, I'm struggling because Timothy and Samuel are both extremely social, and they don't like to do a lot of independent things. Neither one of them do. And so it's a challenge for me because I don't know how to spend time just working with Samuel, or if Samuel wants me to, Samuel loves stories and loves being read to. Timothy gets bored with them after a while. So if I'm reading stories to Samuel, he gets frustrated because Timothy's talking to him. Or if I'm trying to work with, like in the morning, I spend equal time with both of them. But when I'm working with Samuel, Timothy wants me to be working with him right then at the same time. And when I'm working with Timothy, Samuel wants to be right there over his shoulder, like telling him all the answers, and it's very difficult. It's not just a matter of like providing them with other things. They just want to be with me all the time. Now, this is much easier in the summertime, in the spring, in the fall, when the weather's really nice and they're outside playing. It definitely is easier because they do spend a lot more time outside. But it's really cold here right now and very snowy, and the days are shorter, and even just when people aren't feeling well or whatever, like it becomes a challenge. And so I'm constantly, like, I've been talking to my husband about how I could never do a job when you're on call, like on call all the time. I tried doing substitute teaching. I couldn't do it because I would get a call, but I'd already have my day planned, and so I couldn't just abandon my plans for the day because I had this call. But at the same time, when you're a substitute, it's very rare that you have substitutions that are planned out ahead, and that seemed to be the only time that I would ever really go in and sub. And I could never be a midwife because I just would have a hard time wrapping around my brain, like doing one thing on this focus, on this track, and then all of a sudden having to stop and like switch tracks. Like it would be I could never do a job like that. But at the same time, that's what you do when you're a mom. And a lot of times I struggle because if I have planned, like I say I have these homeschool blocks, and for me what that does is that triggers, okay, during this time I'm not cleaning, I'm not trying to get anything done, I am focused on the boys and kind of doing things with them, and that helps me. But sometimes during those blocks they're playing really, really well and doing things that are very educational and good, so I want to give them that time. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm covering material. And I find that sometimes, like some mornings, they play by themselves beautifully and don't need me at all. Other mornings, I can't really get anything done because they're needing so much. And I find that if I plan things and I'm hoping to get things done, then I tend to kind of stress and am not as present with them as I should be because I'm trying to get the thing done. And then I find that if I plan to spend time with them and then they don't need that, I end up wasting a lot of time because I don't have anything that I'm supposed to be doing, and there's so many things that I could be doing. It's overwhelming for me to try to figure that out. So anyway, I might sound totally crazy to some of you guys. I know, especially you type A personalities, you're like, what are you talking about? But this is a real thing. This is probably my biggest struggle as a mom, is trying to work all of this out and fit all of this in and figure out how my rhythms go. But I'm sure there are some of you who understand and struggle similarly. And anyway, if you do struggle with it and you have found any solutions, I'm totally ears, totally wanting to learn. But this is something that I'm really just taking some time to focus on, to think about, and try and figure out the best way for me to approach this problem, because it's something fundamental to who I am. Like, it's not like I can just decide that I'm gonna think differently or function differently. Like, it doesn't work that way. But at the same time, I am not willing to let this get in the way of my children's education, their growth, my ability to be a mom, a really good mom to them. So I'm really trying to figure out this balance and how to kind of not have this strict schedule. I mean, that's me naturally. It's this very strict schedule, very strict routine, and you follow it and you do it. But I don't believe that that's best for my children and their growth. So I'm trying to find a balance between that to keep me sane, and between something for them that is a little bit more laid back and kind of easygoing, because I don't know, I feel like I waste so much time kind of in this in-between world. So what's the point of this? I don't know. This is just kind of what's been on my heart, what I'm working through. I feel like in some ways things have gone really well. I think I'm just struggling more as Samuel is getting more and more interested in me reading and needing more and more one-on-one attention, and Timothy needs more one-on-one attention. And that balance, just shifting that a little bit has kind of made all of this go wonky. And so I'm really struggling with figuring it out. So how to give them each their one-on-one attention, how to give them still plenty of time to play. I try really, really hard every day and have time when I am busy doing other things and they play without adult intervention. Like, that's really, really important to me. Now, that doesn't mean that if there's a problem, like, I don't come or help, and I'm listening to what they're doing, but it's really important to me that they play some and have time that it doesn't have adult interaction telling them how to do it or what to do or whatever. So I want to make sure they have plenty of time for that, plenty of time for experiments, plenty of time for doing whatever, but at the same time making sure that they're getting their school in and they're getting the things that are important. And anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm getting to where I'm just rambling and rambling, but I wanted to share with you what is on my heart, what I'm struggling with, because I think sometimes on YouTube especially, it's easy to show all of the things that are going well and all of the things that seem kind of perfect. But really, all of us have something that we're struggling with, at least something, whether it just be in motherhood, whether it be in homeschool, whether it be anything. We all have things that are challenging for us. And I think it's important that we share those things, not as a way for us to commiserate and give us an excuse to just give into those challenges, but as a way of encouragement to each other, and that we can continue to work through those challenges and grow through those challenges together. And so that is kind of where I'm at. I'm really working on this balance between schedule and routine and figuring out a way to give myself the structure that I need while not over-imposing structure on my kids to the point where I'm kind of crushing their spirit, but giving them kind of the freedom to do well as well, and kind of training myself how to handle this constant interruption and constant redirection throughout my day, while at the same time having the space that I need to recover a little bit so that I can really be there for them each day. So anyway, that is all I have to say, and whatever your struggles are, just keep going. Like, work through them and you will be stronger, and we all struggle. We all have our weak points. You can do this. So after I made this video and I spent some time talking to my husband and praying and thinking, I had an idea of something that I'm going to try that I think might actually help a lot. Every day I go into the day and I know the things that I absolutely have to get done, the things that I would like to get done, and I kind of try and guess what my kids are going to want to do and what's going to be going on with them, but I haven't really included them in that process. So we have a basic rhythm to our day, and I don't think that that needs to change, but I can make that more flexible, make sure we're still getting done with the things that we need to do. So what I'm going to start doing is at the breakfast table, I'm usually there just waiting for them to finish eating anyway. So I will ask them what the things are that they want to do for the day, what's important for them, and we'll talk about the things that have to get done. If one of them wants to paint, then they can say, hey, can we paint today? And for me, putting that in the plan and figuring out ahead of time, if they just ask me in passing, like randomly, hey mama, can we get out the paints? I'm likely to say no, just because I'm on whatever track I'm on, and to me I'm thinking, okay, get off this track, get out messy paint, stop what I'm doing, have to help them, big mess, all this, no. But if I know, like, okay, you want to do paints, okay, I can have time to kind of prep myself mentally and be okay with that. And also, as part of that time, I could say, okay, mama has these things to do and I need to do them by myself quietly. So let's think of things, what can you do during that time? Or, making sure as part of our things that we have to do is our rest time. We have rest time every day. Samuel listens to stories, Timothy listens to stories. They're supposed to stay in their own spaces. I stay in my space, and that helps a lot. Gives me kind of time to decompress in the middle of the day. I don't know, I'm excited about trying to plan the day with them, and it doesn't have to be exact, but being a little bit more flexible. If I know that Samuel wants to play with his friends after school, we can move where homeschool is, kind of including them and helping our day to run more smoothly and making sure that we all get the time that we need. Now, does that mean we'll stick to that schedule exactly? No, but I can also help the kids understand, like, if you go outside and play right now, you're not going to have time for that story you wanted me to read to you. Is that okay? And they're deciding, and then there's not battles afterwards. So I don't know. if this will help, but I'm encouraged and hopeful, and I would love to hear some of you guys' coping strategies and methods, but I think the key is, the main keys for me are, one, starting my day quietly and slowly. I have to get up before the kids, have to have time to just have quiet and to kind of prepare. And Arlen does a very good job at vetting the kids for me in the morning. And then taking that time in the middle of the day. And I think that planning the day with the kids and knowing what we all need for the day and just talking about our needs is going to be really, really helpful. So that is all I have for you. Please check out the other links in the for the collab below. Sorry this is so long. Definitely let me know your questions and anything like that. I probably don't have the same kind of advice the other ladies do because I'm new at this and I'm figuring this out. But I know that being an introvert does not have to mean that I can't homeschool my kids, and I just have to focus on all of the good things. That means that when I'm with them, I'm focused on them and I'm paying attention to them and I'm meeting their needs. And so just switching it to focus on all the things I have to offer and making it my personal goal and challenge to find ways to work with the struggles that come along with it. So that is all I have to say, and I hope that you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.